Hey, I'm Pär from Sabaton. I'm currently in Cardiff, and you're listening to Morgan Richards on Radio Cardiff.
Hey, I'm Morgan Richards from Radio Cardiff for 90.7 FM, and I'm very pleased to say that I'm backstage at the Tramshed music venue here in Cardiff. I'm joined by a band who've been to hell and back for the art of war for the price of a mile. It's of course those Swedish power metal heroes. It's the wonderful Pär of Sabaton.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hey man, you okay?
I'm totally okay. I'm having a good time, and I'm looking forward to tonight's show.
Yeah.
As simple as that. I mean, this is a very nice tour, and we're having a lot of fun.
So the last 2 years for Sabaton have basically just been fulfilled with touring internationally and getting footage for your newly released Heroes on Tour live DVD. After everything the band's done over the last 15 years, is it just an awesome feeling to constantly be on the road and still have the ability to put out live material straight after another?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of work to do stuff like that, and we are on the road, as you mentioned, a lot. Last year I had about 300 travel days in a year, so I'm pretty much out. And the days I had home I spent working on the DVD basically. So we are constantly working, and it's always something happening, which is very exciting. That's why time flies for us, of course, because one day we're in one country and the next day we're in another country, and when we are home, so to say, we're constantly occupied anyway. So time flies, and it feels like yesterday when we released Heroes, and now it was so quickly. I mean, I remember it feels like yesterday when I was sitting and doing the final cuts for the DVD, and now here we are, and the DVD just got released, and it's like, oh, that was fast.
And as part of the new DVD, a huge feature was filmed at your own festival, Sabaton Open Air, that happens annually in your hometown each year. But on top of that, you also have your own cruise tour as well. When you think about it, it's quite surreal that you've been established yourselves to that much that you're able to do these things with a true army of fans, especially in mainland Europe.
Well, I mean, the festival started, it's 8 years ago, and it started as a one-off kind of indoor release party one night, inviting a few friends to play, and now it's a 3-day open air event with 2 stages and one of the major festivals in Sweden. So it's kind of turned into something which I didn't expect it to be, but I love it. And it's with a lot of pride when I stand there and watch it, because it's what it has become, what it has evolved to is very emotional. We have fans coming from more than 30 different countries just to have 3 days of hanging out with other Sabaton fans from around the world. So that is just absolutely amazing. And seeing that the cruise itself, it started actually as a kind of solution to a problem. We are in Sweden, we need to get to Finland, and we need to get on the ferry, and they want to charge us a lot of money for that. And so I said, I don't want to pay that. So I rent the whole ferry and invited fans, and we sold it out first time, and now we have done 5 cruises, and they've all been sold out very far in advance. The last one was sold out in like 30 minutes or something, and we do it always and every year, and it's very unique and special atmosphere.
And speaking of touring, you've just recently announced that you'll be special guests to Iron Maiden on a couple of their European dates this summer. Even though we've mentioned what you've achieved as a headline band, is it still a little bit more special getting to play these shows when Maiden was such a huge thing for you guys growing up?
Of course, Iron Maiden was and is still my favorite band. So, and it's a big inspiration. I mean, Iron Maiden was one of the reasons I started to play music, and they're one of the reasons I still keep playing music. It's very inspirational to tour with them. It's great to see them on the stage, because you can see that they are obviously not doing it for the money. They're just there for the right reason. And it was never one of those like instantly getting super popular, having radio hits and whatever. It was a band who worked hard and been ups and downs, and I love the way that they have been, and to see them still performing that good on stage means that if I don't, screw this up, and as long as we are in Sabaton and we don't do drugs and we stay away from drinking and fucking us up completely, then we will be able to do that too when we are that age. And that is a very comfortable thought.
Yeah.
So Iron Maiden is still a big inspiration for that.
And one thing with that I wanted to mention is that everybody knows you guys are a fun bunch off stage who like to party now and again. But recently there was a story that your vocalist lost a drunken bet and had to walk over 300 miles to your next gig.
Well, talking about us, I was trying to make an impression that we don't party that hard. I mean, this was just ridiculous, but he didn't manage to walk that. Of course, he had to cancel the trip, and it was way too far to walk. But so the way it turned out was just actually quite funny, and it became a world news, which is interesting. Here in UK, it was even on BBC News, which is like when we release a new album, nobody cares. But apparently, when our singer's gonna walk to a gig, then it's a world news. Yeah. It means what people actually are interested in, and that's a sad thought. Well, I wish people cared more about the music and less about the walking, but anyway, it was a fun idea, crazy thought, and it didn't work out very well.
And with it being 2 years since the release of your last proper studio album, have you guys started any work as of yet towards any new material for a new record?
Sure. In one way, songwriting is constantly going on. We are always working with new songs and stuff. But it's not until very recently when we start to for real put them together to make songs out of the ideas. And we are very close to entering the studio. We feel very comfortable that we have enough. We can enter the studio and make a good album. So it's not far away.
Okay.
But I don't want to say too much, because it's like I want to feel comfortable. I want to enter the studio, and I want everybody to know, okay, we know for sure. I have a booked release date of the next album. Of course I have, and tours, and I have everything planned for the next 2 years. But until we know we can actually provide them and hold those dates, I don't want to say them.
While we've mentioned new material, of course, the last few records have been very passionate, telling stories of military history. But I actually understand that fans had been telling you some stories and ideas you weren't aware of, and have since used them as kind of little topics.
True, and it is as simple as that. We are not historical experts. And we sit home in Sweden, and we cannot know what happened in the whole world the last 5,000 years. After all, we spend most of our time doing heavy metal, and but it's an interest, and we have to sing about something. So why not sing about something that we care about, that we find interesting? So, but we wouldn't know the whole world's history. That's why sometimes it's great that fans comes with ideas, because obviously if you live in Bulgaria, you know about the Bulgarian history, maybe. But if you live in Sweden, you have no fucking clue what happened in Bulgaria 100 years ago. But it's good that they tell us.
Yeah.
So that's how we get a lot of fans sending ideas, and it's very appreciated.
Okay.
And then we start doing research, and because whatever we sing about always have two sides. So we have to be sure that we are not just telling something that was, twisted into propaganda or something like that. So yeah, it's a little bit, it's a lot of research and stuff like that.
And of course, with all that now, you guys are going to be continuing touring like crazy worldwide and preparing for the next album. But what else can we really expect now from Sabaton in the near future?
Well, I mean, we're not really gonna change our path. We do albums and we tour a lot, and this is what we're gonna continue with. As I said earlier, we have already the plans for the next tours, it's already there, booked venues, everything is done. And I could tell you where I'm gonna be in August next year. I would know day by day, and I can tell you where I'm gonna be in November next year. So that is already set. So but until we publish something official, I don't want to say too much, because sometimes things do change and we don't want to upset people.
Okay, well, fair enough. Well, that's about it. Cheers for taking time out to have a quick chat with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Best luck now with everything in the near future, and hopefully I can catch up with you guys again very soon.
Sure. See you around.